Hmm. Greetings. I hope you're well. Hope you're happy, healthy, and strong. Something that I've learned from one of my new heroes, a man by the name of Wim Hof. Wimhof. Check him out. This vlog is built around one of my favorite questions. I was at one time thinking of it being a sermon, seminar, talk, but for right now, let's just leave it a big question. But it is a question which opens to show and showcase and be the vehicle for some kindred questions in my mind. So here's the sharing. Here's the question for you. Where do you go for your news? Where do you go for your news? Now, let's freeze that for a moment and put it on a board. Where do you go for the news? And let me share with you how I use the word news, N-E-W-S, in all of my research, practice, and work with WU-CHI CHI-GONG, with WU-CHI CHI-GONG. Where do you go for your news? When I use news in the generative context of my practice, it means healing. It means goodness. It means freedom. It means liberation. Going back to news, it also has a word. It means renewal. So where do you go for your feeling of being renewed? What do you do? And even a parallel question, parallel. Where have you learned, or how have you learned, or when did you learn that that was a good source of news for you? Did that come from your family, mom, dad, uncles, kindred, tribe, culture? Possibly did it come from your reading, which I hope is wide, rich, and deep, and varied, but at the same time not haphazard, but focused. Okay? So where do you continue to go for your news? And once you get there, what does it look like? What does it sound like? What does it feel like? What color is it? Is it moving? Is it dynamic? Is it yoga? Is it Qigong? Is it Tai Chi? Is it Kung Fu? Is it a sunset? Is it a rainbow? Is it a waterfall? Is it the voice and the face of someone you love deeply? Is it a memory? Do you go to a memory for your news? Ah. Where do you go for your news? This leads to another feeling that I have always had about the question, well, where do you go for your news? Where do you go for your news? Where do you go? What do you do with the news or information or feeling or data once you get it? How do you then bring it into the generative fiber and substance and vitality of your being, of your life, of your thinking, of all of your cognitive belonging, of all the glycoproteins of your frontal and even of your primitive self? How do you process that so that it is then a measurable and meaningful aspect of how it is you're going to go about your day? How does your news then prepare you to get things done so that they stay done? All jobs done becometh one. That's what makes all jobs fun. Where do you go for your news? A sharing. Over time, I used to arrogantly say, oh, I'm the creator and inventor and practitioner of WU-CHI CHI-GONG. I said that for some time. However, I've come to believe and feel, breathe. I've come to believe and feel that whatever it is in the universe that was seeking to come into the world, it came in through me, and I call it Breathe WU-CHI CHI-GONG. An example of this type of reflection is the hearing Brother Wim in one of his podcasts or telecasts or his interviews, which are many right now. Be careful, Brother Wim, be careful, you're out there. You're out there at the very edge, and like all sages and prophets and seers and do-gooders, we do become vulnerable once we have something that can free people from their misery. It's a dangerous thing to come between somebody and their favorite misery, because misery loves company. A terrible thing to say. But back to where we go for our news. And what do we do with the data? How do we process it and bring it into some type of expression or clothing? Do we wear it? Do we sing it? Do we design it into the housing for machines? Do we fly it? What good is it once we get it and use it? What is its value? What is its value? So then, we now have a growing substance to our question. Where do you go for your news? Me, with my prejudice now, my bias toward breathing well, breathing fully and properly, chi, hu, shi, chi. Does your news help you breathe better? Does your news help you to bring about healing for either yourself or those around you? Or do you care even to heal anybody? Do you care even to be healed? I pray to God you're not on the very precipice of doing harm to yourself or doing anyone else. So then maybe you should better find a good place to find those. I'm so fond of asking somebody that I see or have known for some time or even just met. I'm quite fond and keen on meeting people and saying, what do you do? Why to the movies? Well, let's dance. Do you sing? Do you cook? Where do you go for your news? What do you do with it once you get it? What value then do you translate it into? Or is it already value? Is that why it's news for you? Who told you that it was news? What makes it news? I think of news as being harmony. I think of news as being rhythm, music even. And the thing, of course, that we know, being musicians, being singers and performers, either in stage or cinema, harmony, or music rather, becomes music when we have the ingredient or the feature called cantabile, a wonderful word from the Latin and Italian cantare, meaning to sing. It finally morphs and becomes chanter in French. News for me invariably has, news for me invariably has a harmony, like breathing itself, like the pulsing, like the heartbeat of either a whale or a bird or an eagle or a badger or one of my favorite mascots is Brother Wolverine, part of the totem of Abba DuMaine World-Wellness University. Harmony, resonance, healing, vitality, like breath itself. Another way to put where do you go for your news is how do you begin the day? What ceremony and ritual do you have that empowers you to, one of my favorite things to say, awaken to awareness. And in that awareness, in the degrees and the senses, which I think are 360, how then do you find your news? In other words, in other feelings and other thoughts and feelings, does your news help you to a fuller awareness? Does it help you to that level of awareness, which you can even call transcendence? And in this noisy era right now, not only just in the United States with its political maneuverings and all the lack of rigor in making noise that some arrogantly call news. It's actually just information that's not newsworthy, but they arrogantly call all of the stuff that pollutes the air as news. For me, that's not news. It's information, it's sound, but it doesn't bring forth healing. It does not inspire. It avoids any type of full awakening to do anything that's of any value for bringing about a greater sense of community, a greater sense of harmony, a greater relevant sense of justice. So backing up, now let's go back to the beginning. Let's go forward to a new beginning. Let's go forward to a new beginning. What news, healing, relevance have we learned, you learned, I learned, and Gillis learned of value in bringing to somebody else? Are you a person, a friend, a son, a brother, a lover, a teacher, a student that is a source, a trusted source of news for someone? How many people come to you on a daily or weekly basis, or even monthly, and say, Don, Steve, Harry, Phyllis, Muhammad, Jeffrey, Abba, what's the news? And I always have news. There's always something cooking in one of my kitchens. Always, 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 always. I prize knowing. I'm very much inspired by those that know. I recently said to a very favorite person, one of my very favorite students, Israel, who's about to go to Germany, I told him, I thanked him. Thank you, friend, for trusting me to be your teacher, your coach in learning a language. Then I confessed to him that I truly like being around people that I consider brighter, quicker, more motivated, more inspiring. I told him that I could not actually be with a person, a student especially, that did not in some way inspire me. Steve Carlson inspired me. My friend's son, brother, Dominic, inspires me. There are a few others, but not many, that inspire me. I find inspiration newsworthy. So when you add to all of this document we always have, where do you go for your news? Where do you go to be inspired? Where do you go for the information that you need that you then turn into reality? Where do you go for the feeling that you need in order to take the next step into your own fulfillment? Where do you go for the reminders that you need to be a better person? Where do you go to find a mirror or a reminder, or both. Oh, a mirror reminder. That's interesting. I'll have to do something with that. Where do you go to be reminded of the values that you have come to cherish? Okay? Please leave a comment, like, and subscribe to the channel. And remember to be the news for someone today. Take care. Bless you all.